What is up, my friends and family? I'm Charmix, and today I'm going to be reacting to 10 Chinese inventions that changed the world by Factsverse. Now, Factsverse makes some very interesting videos, so make sure you go subscribe to them. That link's in the description. And as far as what I believe the Chinese have invented, I believe I heard a long time ago that they invented gunpowder and fireworks, so that might be in here, as well as, I think, spaghetti? I think that's one of them as well. Anyway, I hope this video is pretty interesting. The original link's in the description, and let's begin.
Factsverse presents 10 Chinese inventions that changed the world. Number 1. The abacus. The Chinese are responsible for inventing the abacus. It was developed as a counting device in 100 AD. Over the years, improvements have been made to the device. The abacus has a wooden frame and parallel rods. Each of the rods holds beads. The beads are worth values in the powers of 10. Since the invention of the calculator, the abacus hasn't been used in counting. It has, however, been turned into an exciting toy for toddlers. Number 2. Ice.
I was watching some video like a month or so ago, and some guy was using one of those things. So obviously people still do use them. And the guy who was doing it is like one of the fastest in the world for, you know, calculating math and stuff like that. So obviously it works quite well. And I mean, they should probably bring that back into schools if it works that well. What the hell's going on up there?
Cream. Ice cream is a delicious treat that is eaten all around the world. It's also one of the tastiest Chinese inventions that changed the world. There's actually no specific origin of ice cream. We don't even really know where it was invented. However,
wait, then how can you say it was a Chinese invention if you don't know where it was invented? That doesn't make any sense.
There's a very good chance that it was the Chinese. In 200 BC, the Chinese invented a variation of the delicious cold treat using a frozen mixture of milk and rice. According to the history books, Marco Polo took the recipe for this frozen treat back to Europe. He also took the recipe for noodles. Number 3. Playing cards. If you love a good game of poker, you can thank the Chinese. The first culture to use playing cards was the Chinese. In Imperial China, during the Tang Dynasty, the royals played the leaf game. Back then, characters from novels were printed on the cards. There are several scholars and historians of ancient China that believe that playing cards were the first form of paper currency. This is because both money and cards were often traded when betting. Number 4. Toilet paper. If you want.
Wait, so the Chinese invented toilet paper, and everyone else is wiping their ass with their freaking hands and shit like that? That's disgusting.
Want to thank someone for making it possible to wipe your butt after you use the bathroom? Well, you should thank the Chinese. Paper was invented in China in 200 BC. About 700 years later, the first use of toilet paper was documented. According to historians, toilet paper—
It took people, was it 700 years to figure out that, you know what, instead of writing with this, I could wipe my butt with it. It took them 700 years. Like, I was expecting maybe like 40 years or something like that.
Was reserved for only the emperor and the imperial court. In 851 AD, an Arab traveler passed through China, and he wrote that the Chinese don't wash up with soap and water after they've done their necessities. This is a nice way of saying going to the bathroom. He wrote that they only wiped themselves with paper. Considering that the Chinese invented toilet paper, it's strange that most public restrooms in China don't provide toilet paper. Number 5.
But
ketchup.
Nowadays?
The next time you have a burger at a barbecue and you reach for the ketchup, you can thank the Chinese people. During the 17th century, China created a sauce using spices and pickled fish and called it ketchup. When the sauce recipe moved to Indonesia and then Malaysia, a few things were changed. When the English explorers got their hands on the recipe in 1805, they added tomatoes and anchovies. By the middle of 1850, the anchovies were removed. The Chinese may not have invented the ketchup that we use today, however, they did get the ball rolling.
I would actually kind of like to taste what the original ketchup tasted like, because it sounds very interesting, as well as the one from, like, was it the 1950s, where they had sardines in it? Was it sardines or anchovies or something like that? That'd be very interesting to taste. I don't know if it would taste good, but it'd be very interesting to taste.
Number 6. The umbrella. It was actually Egyptians who invented the first umbrella by tying palm leaves to sticks. Unfortunately, these early umbrellas were not waterproof. The Egyptian umbrellas were better for blocking out the sun than the rain. The first waterproof umbrella was invented in China during the 11th century BC. They would take silk umbrellas and coat them with lacquer and wax. This kept the emperor dry during the rain. Soon it caught on, and everyone in China was carrying a waterproof umbrella. Number 7. Nail polish. The next time you get a manicure, you should thank the Chinese. Over 5,000 years ago, during the Ming Dynasty, nail polish was invented. Back then, they used a combination of egg whites, gum arabic, beeswax, dyes, and gelatin. Over the last 5,000 years, we have improved the recipe quite a bit. However, it was the Chinese who first came up with the idea. Number 8. The flamethrower. If you've ever seen a good action movie with amazing explosions, chances are you've seen a flamethrower. What you may not know, though, is this weapon was invented in 919 AD in China. The weapon ran on a very…
What? They had flamethrowers like, I don't know, a couple thousand years ago or something like that? That's crazy. So everyone else was like fighting with spears and swords, and then there's a guy over there with a flamethrower. That's awesome.
Early form of gasoline, which was called fire oil. This fire oil became famous quickly because it could not be doused by water. Unfortunately for the Chinese military, this weapon killed their enemies, but them as well. Many soldiers were killed when the violent winds swept the fire up in their direction. Number 9.
Rip.
Fireworks.
Now, I knew
The next time you're at a 4th of July fireworks display, thank the Chinese. The Chinese are the ones who discovered the quick ignition of niter and sulfur. This is how they created gunpowder. Soon after they realized how useful gunpowder would be for military purposes, they realized it would be useful for special effects, too, during acrobat and magician shows. It didn't take long for the rest of the world to see how amazing fireworks were. Today, they're used for many holidays all over the world. Number 10. Homemade car. This is a homemade car designed and built by 3 Chinese college students. It's one of the world's smallest cars, and it's capable of going 37 miles
Is that one of them right there? I love how there's like a Lamborghini sticker on it.
per hour. When you get in the car, someone would put the cover on and you would steer from the inside.
Okay, so that's
It's not the safest mode of transportation, therefore the driver should wear a helmet. You don't want to hit a moving object at 37 miles per hour without protection.
Alright, so that was a pretty interesting list. And I was familiar with the gunpowder and the fireworks because I heard that a long time ago. Anyway guys, I hope you liked this video. This was quite interesting, and if you guys liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share it with a friend. If you're new, subscribe and join the family today. Also, make sure you go subscribe to Facts Verse, that link's in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Woo!
Flop, 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 flop. Peep, peep. Ah.